Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Varun Tahin. We have seen in the previous session how do we operate with indexes and labels to select some of the rows and columns in a data frame with market data set. In today's session, we will go deep and see how do we select subset of the data frame using various condition on values, and we will also look how do we merge and concatenate two and more data frames and derive useful information from it. So before starting this session, I would again request to check out my previous videos on NumPy and Pandas, as those are the prerequisites to start this session. So we have seen in the previous video how to do indexing of data frames using df.iloc and df.loc functions. Now let's see how to subset data frame based on certain condition using df.loc. Okay, so for that I will use the same data frame. So let me import the libraries first. Okay, so pandas and numpy is what we require here, and I will now load the data frame using pd.readcsv. Okay, and you'll give the path here. So it is global sales data is the folder name slash market underscore fact dot csv. Okay, and then we will print its head, which will print 5 rows. Okay, so it has printed now. So guys, now that we have this data frame, often we would want to select rows which satisfy some given conditions. Okay, for an example, select all the orders where the sales is greater than 3000, or the orders where sales is between 2000 or 3000 and profit is less than 100. So all such kind of various conditions. Okay, so actually the best way to do these operations is using df.loc functions instead of df.iloc, as df.iloc would require us to remember the integer column indices, which is very tedious. Now let's see some examples. So let me print sales columns 5 row values that will serve us as the original data, and we will try and put some conditions on it and try to filter rows and see if it works. Okay, so I will use this df and I will say sales and head. Okay, so I will take 5 values of it. So these are our original values. Now let's say that we want to select all the rows where sales is greater than 3000. Okay, so from this head we will choose all the rows which have greater than 3000. So first and foremost thing is that we get a boolean array where true corresponds to rows having sales greater than 3000. So how do we do that? So we will say df dot sales greater than 3000. Okay, and then we will say head. Okay, so now you will see here, okay, the 0th row, which is the first row, is having 136.81, which is clearly less than 3000. The first one also is less than 3000, so there are false and false here. So this is greater than 3000, thus we have true, and this is less than 3000, thus we have false, and the last one is having greater than 3000, so it is true here. Now our main objective here is to subset the complete data frame to retrieve complete row which has sales greater than 3000. Okay, so then we will pass this boolean array inside df.loc function. So let us check that how to do that. So I will say df.loc. So you guys must be familiar with this function now, as we have used this in previous session. So I will say df.sales is greater than 3000, so just like before, and I will print the head, and because only 2 rows are returned with true, so I will print the head as 2 to remove confusion. Okay, so you'll see here that the true rows were the second index and the fourth index, which is order 5446 and order 5485. Okay, so the same are returned here. that is index 2 and 4. And an alternative to df.sales is using sales as a column inside df using square brackets. Okay, so we can also see that we have seen this previously also, that it works both the ways. So what I'll do is I will mention this in the square brackets. Okay, and what we can also do is mention colon here. So this is an explicit way of saying that we want all the columns. So you will see here that both of these statements will give the same output and fetch us index 2 and 4 rows. Now we can combine multiple conditions using AND operator in df.lock. Okay, so let's see one example. And let's say that we want to fetch all the orders having sales between 2000 and 3000 and where profit is greater than 100. Okay, so we can do this. Okay, so I will use df.lock here. Okay, and what I'll do is I will specify the conditions here. So inside this I will use df.sales is greater than 2000. Okay, end it. Okay, so these will be in circular brackets. Okay, so if we want to have multiple conditions, we should always specify these in circular brackets, and with ampersand we can specify AND condition. So AND df.sales is less than 3000. Okay, so it will give us between ranges, and then we will say and then df.profit is greater than 100. Okay, and we have to fetch all the columns. Then we will say dot head. Okay, and we will put this inside circular brackets. Okay, because we want to get it set. Okay, so you will see here that just look at sales column. Okay, so if the sales are between 2000 and 3000, all the rows will be returned. So I am fetching only 5 right now. So you will see here it is between 2000 and 3000 and profit is greater than 100 here. Now let us explore one use case with an OR condition. Okay, so OR is represented by a pipe symbol. So let's say that we want to fetch all orders having sales greater than 2000 or profit greater than 1200. Okay, so what I will do is I will use df.lock and inside square brackets I will represent the condition with an OR statement. So df.sales is greater than 2000, and then again another condition. Okay, so it will be separated via the pipe symbol. I'll say df.profit is greater than 1200, and then I will simply put colon to represent all the columns. Okay, so this I will represent under the circular brackets, and I will say dot head to get 5 rows of it. Okay, so here you will see that all the sales values will either be greater than 2000 or the profit will be greater than 1200. Okay, so either one of them will be true. So here if you see at the first record, both the conditions are satisfied. In the second row, only the sales condition, that is greater than 2000, is satisfied, but this one is not true. Even though it is not true, with an OR we can say that it will be returned. Okay, because that is an OR condition, and likewise you can check. Now let's say that we want to fetch only few columns given certain conditions. Okay, so let's take the previous example where we have to fetch all the orders having sales between 2000 and 3000 and profit greater than 100. So what I'll do is I will copy this statement and I have to return only customer ID, sales and profit as the result now. So instead of putting colon here, what I will do is I will create a list and specify all the columns that I want to return. Okay, so similarly sales and then profit. Okay, so here you can tally that it has returned all the rows with a particular condition, and also only few of the columns which we specified here are returned as a data frame. Now we can even give equals to and not equals to condition inside that df.lock. Okay, so let's take an example of such a situation. So let's say that I want to find all the sales which are exactly 2671.21. Okay, so what I'll do here is I will say df.lock inside df.sales double equals to, and I will copy paste it. Okay, so what it will do is it will do a search over data frame and it will return me only those records which have sales exactly matching this number. Okay, and then I will do its head. Okay, so here you will see that it has exactly matched and returned the record which is as per the condition specified. Now let's see another example with not equal to. Okay, so I'll copy this and change this number to 1000 and say not equals. Okay, so not is represented by exclamation. Okay, and so here I am finding all the sales records which are not equals to 1000. So let's check. So exactly it is not returning 1000 here. So all the records are returned which are not equals to 1000. Now guys, there can be instances where we want to select rows whose column value is in an iterable, let's say a list or something. Okay, so in other words, we do not want to specify or condition with lots of double equals. So we'll take an example. For an instance, let's say a colleague gives you a list of customer IDs from a certain region, okay, which you are seeing on the screen, and what we want to do is we want to only return the records which have that customer ID. So to get all the records or all the orders from these customers, we will use isin function. Okay, so it returns a boolean which we can use to select rows. So let's check how to do that. So I will say df.lock. Okay, and inside this square brackets I will use df with customer ID. Okay, so this is the name of the column, and what I'll do is I will use isin function, and just like we do in Python, I will pass this list here. Okay, and then we want to get all the columns of it. Now if I print this, you will see that all the customer IDs will be falling in this value ranges. Okay, so 1798, 45, 637 and 851. Okay, now this brings us to the end of slicing and dicing session, guys. Next in this session we will look at merging and concatenating multiple data frames. So merging is one of the most common operations we will do since data often comes in various files. Okay, so in our case we have sales data of a retail store spread across multiple files, as I have already shown you guys. Okay, so we have downloaded this in our local system from a GitHub repository, and so we will now work with all these data files and learn to merge multiple data frames using common column keys using pd.merge and concatenate data frames using pd.concat. So let's first read these data files. So for that I have already written this, so I'll execute it. Now before we move on with various merge rules and operations, we will first look at the data of these data frames. So I have printed the heads of each one of them. So these are 5 files that we have. So the market fact you must have observed already that we were using before, that contains the sales data for each order. Okay, and then there are the other 4 files which are called the dimension tables of files and contain metadata about customer, product, shipping details and order details, etc. Okay, so if you guys are already familiarized with the concept of star schemas and data warehouse designs, you will notice that we have one fact table and 4 dimension tables here. Okay, so let's look at each data frame closely. So market data frame, you're already familiar with this, as each row is an order here. So customer data frame is a dimension table, okay, where each row contains metadata about the customers, okay, with this province, region and customer segment and customer ID and its customer name. And then there is the product data frame, okay, where it has the metadata about the product, its subcategory, product ID. And then there is this shipping DF, where it has shipping mode, ship details, ship ID and order ID. So it is the same representation just like SQL here. And then there is order data frame, which has metadata about the orders like order date and order priority. Now let's move on to merging the data frames. So say we want to select all the orders and observe the sales of a customer segment. Okay, so since customer segment details are present in the customer DF, so we have to first need to merge it with the market DF. Now when we see, we will notice it that here customer ID is the common column between these two data frames. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to do a inner join just like the SQL does it. We have to make sure that only the customer IDs present in both the DFs are included in the result. It will operate just like the SQL inner join operates. Now what we'll do is we will merge these two data frames, that is the market DF and customer DF, and we'll create a new data frame called as df_1. So what I'll do is pd.merge market_df comma customer_df, and then I will specify on what column I need to merge it. So this is an inner join because we want to have the common column between these two data frames. Okay, and it is on customer ID, which is present in both of the data frame, and then I will print its head. Okay, so you will find here all the columns present in both the market DF and customer DF will be present here with a merge on the customer ID. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to select all the orders and observe the sales of the customer segment corporate. So what we'll do is we will filter it using that particular column, customer segment as corporate. Okay, so what we do is we'll say df1.lock and use df1 and choose this customer segment, and say double equals to corporate. Okay, and we want all of its columns. We will see and observe that all of the rows from customer segment corporate will come here. Now this is how we can subset the orders made by customer from corporate segment only. Now if we see the health section of merge, it will give us various options on how we can join various data frames. Okay, it can be left, right, outer, inner and cross. So we have already seen inner, and it will tell us all the other options. So you guys can look into it using this help pd data frame.merge. Now let's see another example where we have to select all orders from product category equals to office supplies and segment equals to corporate. Okay, so we have segment corporate in df1 and we have office supplies in the product df. So we have to merge these two now. So let's create another data frame called as df underscore true, and what I'll do is I'll do pd dot merge, and then I will provide df underscore 1 comma product underscore df, and we'll say how equals to inner again, because we have to choose the common column from it. And then when you look into it, you will find that product ID is the common column across these two data frames. So I'll just select this and provide it in on argument. Okay, and then I will print its head. Okay, so when I do this, sorry for the typo. Okay, so when I do this, you will find that this new df will contain product category and product subcategory, which are part of the product underscore df. Now our objective is to select all the orders from product category equals to office supplies and from corporate segment. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll use this merged df, which is df underscore 2, and then I will say dot lock, and I will specify the conditions here. So df underscore 2, I'll say product category double equals to office supplies. I will select this. Okay, and then I will put and here, so ampersand, and then df underscore 2 customer segment equals to corporate. Okay, and then I will give all the columns of it. Okay, so now you will find here that it has fetched from the customer segment the corporate details, that okay, and from the product category it has chosen the office supplies only. Now similarly we can merge the other dimension tables such as shipping df and order df to create a master df and perform indexing using columns in the master data frame. Okay, so let us merge all those. So let us create a data frame 3 with the key as ship id to merge on. Okay, let's do that. So I will say df underscore 3 equals to pd dot merge. Okay, and then specify df underscore 2 shipping underscore df how as inner on as the ship id. Okay, so you guys can see here that ship id is present both in shipping df and is the df underscore 2 which we made earlier. Okay, so I'll create this and see its shape now. Okay, so it has given us 19 columns with 8399 rows. Okay, let's now create the master df which will have all the columns of all the other data frames. So I will say pd.merge and then supply here df underscore 3 as the first argument and orders underscore df as second argument, and then we'll say how as inner and on as order id, okay, which is the common column between these two, okay. And then I will simply print the shape of it and also the head of it. So head, okay. So you'll observe it here that it will have all the columns of all the data frames. Now guys, let's move on to concatenating the data frames. So concatenation is much more straightforward than merging. It is used when you have data frames having the same columns and want to append them, that is pile on top of each other, or having the same rows and want to append them side by side. So we will try and concatenate data frames having the same columns. So say we have two data frames having the same columns like this, okay. So let me execute it and let me show how it looks. So one of the data frame is this and the second one is this, and let's say that I want to concatenate the second data frame just below the first data frame, okay. So what I will do is I will use pd dot concat and I will give the list of the data frames, which is df1 comma df2, and the second parameter is axis, okay. So here I will give it 0, okay. The first argument is always a sequence of the data frame and the second is axis, which indicates that we want to concatenate along the row axis. So this is row axis. If we say 1, that will be a column axis. So now you will observe that just below the first data frame, these three records are appended, that is Akhil, Asha and Parul. So a useful and intuitive alternative to concat along the rows is also append function. It also does the same thing. So we'll see that also. So the use of it is like we'll use df1 and we will say append and we will mention df2. So you will observe here it will give the same output as the previous concat method, and we don't need to mention axis also. Now we shall see the concatenation of data frames having the same rows. So we can also have a data frame having the same rows but different columns and having no common columns, okay. So in this case we may want to concat them side by side, okay. So we will print this. Okay, so what we will do is we will append these columns side by side on this data frame, okay. So again we have to do the similar way. So we'll use pd.concat method and we will give a data frame 1 and data frame 2 here with axis. This time will be 1, okay. So you will see here that these two columns are appended side by side here, okay. So note that we can also use pd.concat method to merge data frame using common keys, though we will not discuss that here, okay. So for simplicity we have used pd.merge method for database style merging and pd.concat for appending data frames having no common columns. Now we can also perform arithmetic operations on two or more data frames. So let me give you an example. So let's say that we have a team-wise stats for IPL for both of the years 2020 and 2021. So what we have to do is we have to perform some arithmetic operations on top of it. Okay, first we have to set the index for both of them. So I'll say IPL to 2020 dot set index, and I'll make IPL team as the index here. Okay, this is to perform the operations on other rows using the same team as reference. Okay, so I'll say in place equals to true, and for the other year also I will set this index. Okay, now let's execute it. Okay, and let me print this. Okay, so it has set the index for both of the years IPL team. Now let's say that we want to add the two data frames using an add operator, just to see the common teams which played in 2020 and 2021's IPL, and I have to add the match played between the 2 years and the matches once. Okay, so we can do it simply via the add operation. So what I will do is I will take the two data frames and simply do an arithmetic operation. Okay, and store it in total data frame and print this. Okay, so here we will see that there are a lot of NAN values. This is because some of the teams which played in IPL 2020 were not present in IPL 2021. In addition, there were also new teams present in IPL 2021. Okay, so we can handle these NAN values by using df.add instead of simple add operator. Okay, now let's tally this first. Okay, so let's say that DD is the row we are looking at. Okay, so DD is present here in 2020 and has played matches 14 and one matches 5. Okay, and here DD has again played 14 matches and won 6 matches. Okay, so it has totaled here, and right now you can see 28 and 11 here. So to handle these NAN values, we can represent them using fill underscore value and mention them in add function. Okay, so let me use it and show it how it is done. So I will use total again, and I will say real 2020 dot add, and I will mention 2021 comma fill underscore value. Okay, and give its value as 0. Okay, so the fill value argument inside this function replaces all the NAN values in the two data frames, okay, with respect to other with 0. So let's execute it and see. So you will see here that it does not have any NANs, and even if it is either present in the first year or the second year, the initial value will still be present. Also, we can see that the resultant data frame is sorted by the index, that is IPL team, alphabetically. So now let's say that we want to create a new column called as win percentage, and to calculate the winning percentage for each of the teams which have played in the IPL. Okay, so we can calculate that via dividing matches won by matches played. Okay, so how to do that? So we'll take this data frame and we will say win percentage. Okay, so this will create a new column, and we'll do a simple division, okay, with matches won over matches played. Okay, and then we will print this. So you guys will see here that a new column will get created and it will calculate the percentage of winning. Now let's look at one problem at hand where we have to determine the teams with most number of wins. And if number of wins of two teams are same, then we have to sort it by the win percentage. Okay, so such kind of problems will require sorting mechanisms. So let's check out how to do that. So I will use that data frame and I will mention sort underscore values. So this method will do a internal sorting inside the data frame, and then we have to mention by which columns we have to sort it. Okay, so I have to mention matches won, okay, and if matches won are same for two teams, then we have to sort it via win percentage according to the question. Okay, and then we will say sort it in descending order. So ascending equals to false. Okay, descending as in the win percentage and matches won are maximum for a team, then it will come first. Okay, so let's check our output. So according to the win percentage and matches won, it has sorted this data frame and it has first sorted with matches won, and if the matches won are same for two teams, then it has sorted those two teams according to the win percentage. That is, win percentage is maximum for Mumbai Indians, that's why it has come first, then Kolkata Knight Riders. Now apart from add, there are also other operators, equivalent mathematical functions that you can use on data frames. So below is list of all the functions that you can use to perform operations on two or more data frames that you can check in the Panda documentation also. So this brings us to the end of the today's session, guys. In the next lecture, we will cover the concepts like grouping and summarizing data frames and also applying lambda functions on it. And we will also see how to use pivot tables. So stay tuned for that. Until then, please practice the operations we did today. Also, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section if you have any questions regarding some concepts. Also, please subscribe my channel if you have not already done, and please like and share if you like my content. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.